Hi everyone. We're at the end of week 2. It's hard to believe. We're almost at spring break. We just have one last assignment for chemistry today. You have one last assignment for chemistry today, I guess I should say. And in it, you will be calculating the standard deviation. This is the measure that lets scientists figure out how precise their data is. So here we are in Google Classroom. I think I'm going to start numbering the assignments, assignment number 5, and try to keep them in order so they're easier to find, because I've noticed there's so many things in here. When I look through it, I'm having a hard time finding everything. So hopefully that will make it easier. Let me know if you have suggestions for things that'll make it easier to find everything in here. I would definitely try them out if I hear them. So here's the assignment. I've put the instructions at the top. The instructions are also at the end of this video, so you can find them in both places. The first thing is to watch this video, and it will be in Edpuzzle, so I'll put a link to it here, and it will have questions that you have to answer inside of it. And I'm going to show you how to calculate the standard deviations in this video. You're going to modify your table. You're going to put in a new column for standard deviations, and you will calculate those. So let's get started on that. Here is, so the whole standard deviation thing is we're trying to figure out how precise our results are. So here is the big ugly formula that is used to calculate standard deviation. You are not going to have to calculate this. Don't worry. You're not doing that in your calculator yourself. You can, you'll get the same answers, but there is an online calculator that will do this for you. It is at calculator.net, and so I'm just showing you a screenshot of it here. I've got instructions for what you need to do there, and we're going to calculate the standard deviation of this example that I'm giving you here. These are times. They could be times for these reactions. I just made these up. So we're going to go to calculator.net. Under math calculators, you need to click on the standard deviation calculator. I've actually also put a link in Google Classroom that takes you directly to the standard deviation part of the calculator, so you can do it either way. And then we're going to enter these numbers. So let's do this right now. So if you go straight to calculator.net, I'll show you the whole thing. We'll be here. Otherwise, if you click on the link in Google Classroom, it'll take you straight to the standard deviation calculator. Here's the math calculator section. We click on the standard deviation calculator. That will take us where we need to be. You need to enter the numbers in this box. And here's their example. Let's look at that really quick. See how the numbers are all separated by commas? That's really important. You have to separate them by commas, not just spaces. So the examples I gave you in our PowerPoint are 12.2. Let's do this. You should go to this website and do this yourself, because I am going to ask you in the questions what the standard deviation is, and you can enter it. And you can look in the instructions. It says make sure this population is selected. You don't want to switch it over to sample, but that's just the default, so just leave that the way it is. We enter them in, and then you click calculate. Go ahead and do it, and then enter your answer. You should have gotten a standard deviation of 1.85 and entered this in the question in the video. Notice how I'm rounding it to two numbers after the decimal place. Make sure you're doing that. Don't enter a whole bunch of stuff, because that online calculator and your own calculator is going to give you a gazillion figures after the decimal point. You only need 2. Make sure you rounded this up. I don't want to see 1.84. There was a 5. It was 1.845, so this one had to be rounded up. Can't talk today. So really think about rounding up. Let's do one more. I want you to calculate the standard deviation. Do it the same way on that website. You just have to refresh it, or you can click on the link again so that you have a new box to enter your answers in. You need to put these three numbers in and calculate the standard deviation of this. And then I'll ask you about that and a second question, and then you're done doing examples. Okay, thanks for answering all those questions. So the instructions for today, everything you're going to do today, let's just kind of do the overview and then I can show you how to modify your table. You've watched this video. The next thing we're going to do is calculate standard deviations for your control and experiments 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to modify your table. So let's look at that. In Google Classroom, I have put example table number 2 in there for you. And let's compare that to example table number 1. Actually, let's compare that to the new modified example table you made. Here was your initial one. You changed that so that now you have a new, you took out these solution A and solution B columns and the observation column, and you condensed solution A and B into this one smaller column for A colon B, just so you have room to put these extra columns in. And now I want you also to take out this column. We don't need it anymore. You converted that column into this one, time seconds, time in seconds. And so delete this one. I've got that listed for you in the instructions, so you can follow those. I'm just showing you what I want you to do. And then you will add an extra column on the right here, standard deviation. So here's what your new table should look like. You've only got one time column, you've still got your averages, and now you have a new standard deviation column here. So let's calculate the standard deviation for your controls. You are going to use, these were repetitions of the same experiment. They should give the same number. They don't always, right? Things happen in the lab. We talked about the different types of errors, random and systematic and human. And so we find the standard deviation. We want to know how much they vary. We want to know how precise our numbers are. So we're going to use these three. And we calculated the average, but we're not going to use this. This goes into the standard deviation formula, but the online calculator is doing everything for you. So you are going to use these three numbers. Let's put these three numbers into the standard deviation calculator. Whoops, we're already online. Let's put them in. I've got them here. 128.21, 91.78. Make sure you separate them with commas. 84.44. Population should still be selected. That just doesn't change. We do calculate. The standard deviation shows up as 19.14. Notice I'm rounding this up. There's a 9 after it. Only keep two figures after the decimal point and round up if you need to. So we get a standard deviation of 19.14. We are going to put that in our table, 19.14. And you can just put one of them after the first one. You can put it in for all three if you want, because you're doing the standard deviation for all three, for basically your control, and you've got 3 sets of them. I'm just going to put it in that one box, but if you want to fill it in the other 2, it's totally up to you. And now you're going to do the other ones on your own. Fill in the standard deviations for experiment 1. You're going to do these 3. And you're going, remember, you're going to use the times and seconds. And then you're going to do experiment 2. I don't have all these times and seconds filled in, but you do because you already did that. And you've got the time and seconds for these for your experiment 2. So you put all those in the online calculator and you find the standard deviation, put it here, and do it again for experiment 3, and you'll have one more number. So you should have 4 different numbers here. All right. Please ask me if you have any questions. We will have our data table statistics all filled in. And then I said there was going to be reflection today, but I decided this was plenty to do for one assignment. So you will reflect on how precise your data is based on these standard deviations. You will do that when you come back from spring break. Okay, have a great weekend. I know it's not fabulous because we're all stuck at home, but I hope you still get to talk to friends and have a good weekend. Okay, goodbye. I will see you in a little over a week, but I will be around over spring break, so get caught up if you need to. Send me emails, put comments on Google Classroom because I will be around and I will be looking at these. Okay, bye.